Hey everybody, I want to share with you today. I've been talking about the promises of God during Lent season, but I want to share with you a promise that is what I would call, actually what a book I read, this person called it, God's calling card. And God's calling card goes just like this, and this is from Isaiah 58:6. It goes like this. It says, "Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and to break every yoke?" God's calling card is to care for the poor, the widow, the orphan, those who are oppressed. And I want you to think about it from God's perspective for a minute. Let's say you have a large family. You have 20 kids. That's a real large family, but 20 kids. And, let's not do that. Let's say you have 5. And you have 2 of them that are starving and not being treated very well, and you have 3 that are doing very well. As a parent, as a father, as a mother, aren't you going to be very concerned about these 2 that aren't doing well? Don't you want something better for them than what they have? Well, that's God's calling card. These are all we are all God's children. The whole world, all the humans on the world are God's children. And God's not pleased when some of his children are being treated poorly. And so God's calling card is to care for those who are the least, who have the least, who are in trouble, who are oppressed, who are in prison, not for, doing crimes, but in prison for other things like politics. So that's what we're to be about too. If we're going to be about what God is about, we want to be about caring for the oppressed and the poor. So that's one side. The other side is that that when you are oppressed, when you are poor, when you are having trouble, that you have a God who is on your side, who is with you, who is next to you, walking through all the oppression or whatever else you might be going through. God's right there with you because this is his calling card. He is on the side of the oppressed and those who are in trouble. So that's a promise that it also means maybe a responsibility for us to care more for the poor of the world. I was just watching CNN this morning, and I saw a piece on orphans, not orphans, but people that are being run out of countries. And I just thought to myself, the things that we do to one another, and usually the reason we do it is for power and control. And I'm telling you, that doesn't make God happy. It doesn't make me happy either to see people suffering. Why should anybody suffer? But yet, through our whole life, sin has been such a big part of who we are that suffering is what people create for others. So that's a promise that kind of has with us some responsibility too, and that is to care for the poor as God would, and care for the oppressed as God would. But also knowing that all of God's children, God wants all his children. He's provided enough food in this planet, enough everything, so that we have enough for everyone. So there's a promise, but it's also encouragement to us to care for those who are oppressed or the least of these. All right, well, have a great day. God bless. Take care.